What's up, Fellowship family? Welcome to my first long form video. If you guys want to see more long form videos, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below whether you would or not. Also, if you want me to do something with music on my channel, then make sure you would comment if you'd like to see that. And maybe if I get enough likes, I'll start a secondary channel. And today, we won't be diving into scripture that much, but we will be talking about why suffering is good. Alright, suffering is good because, well, first we have to understand where suffering comes from. And most people say, like, why does God, like, why do bad things happen to good people? And people are also like, why does God make me suffer through this? You guys get it? So the one thing that I would like to say is suffering does not come from God. It comes from evil, and evil comes from Satan. So there. So if you ask someone, where does suffering come from, or like why does God cause suffering, or why does He make us suffer? Then there are three similar answers. One is evil and suffering are all psychological conditions. The second one is God isn't all powerful, no matter who says He is. 3. God is a distant Father. He made His creation, then He stepped away from it to let us live our life. These answers I got from a Bryce Crawford podcast, I believe. It's a very good podcast. If you want to watch it, I'll put a link in the description. Anyways, so evil and suffering are all psychological conditions. So they're all in your head. So like evil and suffering aren't real. They're just like, you just think they're real. And the next one is God isn't all powerful, which I don't know where are they going with that. Because He is, and I can prove that. Because if He wasn't all powerful, then how would He change the lives of like whoever turns to Him? Like me, for example, I used to be pretty out of pocket, but then I found Christ, and then He radically changed my life, and I used to have anxiety and stuff like that, but then I truly let Christ into my heart, and then it was gone. So that's also another thing. If you have any anxiety or depression, Jesus will set you free from that, because He is all powerful, and He can set you free from anything that you need. The third one is God is a distant Father. So that means He made His creation in the beginning. In Genesis, it says God created the heavens and the earth. And then it says that He keeps creating everything else, and then He takes a rest, which I guess that's where people think that He takes a break from His creation, like He just lets us live our life. You know what I mean? And then, so yeah, the answer for why suffering exists is simple. It is the Satan. It is Satan. And this is why the world is so messed up right now, because we live in a world predominantly led by Satan. Not dominantly, but predominantly. That's why we find suffering so common throughout the world, because people are always like, I had a really bad day today, or like, this friendship isn't really working out, this relationship isn't really working out. But God puts you through these things so that you stay faithful to Him, and so He can test your faith and trust in Him. Like Job. So we're gonna talk about Job today. Let me find it. So we can automatically debunk the common question: if God is so good, then why does suffering cause, or why does He cause suffering? Why does God cause suffering if He's so good? Which we just proved that God doesn't cause suffering. Satan does. That's a very silly question to have, especially my bad. Especially because we just talked about where evil comes from, not God, but from the devil. The thing is, God doesn't cause suffering, but He can use suffering to strengthen your faith and test you and strengthen your bond with Him, so y'all can become closer. Just like Job, the story of Job is about this man who is very fortunate for he was very rich and very wealthy, and he had a lot of children, and so basically Satan. So he lived a blameless life. That doesn't mean he didn't sin, but he was a very, very good man. He had a bunch of money, a bunch of children, a bunch of sheep, cattle, all that stuff. And so then Satan comes to the Lord, and he's like, the only reason Job is so faithful to you is because that everything's going well for him in life. So then the Lord was like, even if you take everything else away from him, he will remain faithful. And that's what happened. Satan didn't only take away things, but he also gave things to him. Bad things. So took away his children, took away his health. Like gave him, I think, leprosy or like I don't know. He had boils on his skin, and he lost all his money. He got kicked out of his house, I think, or something. And Job lost it all. But throughout this story of about like 48 chapters, somewhere along there, Job remained faithful through all. After his friends persuading him to just give up and curse God, even his wife doing the same thing because of how bad everything was going for him. But no, Job said no, and he remained faithful to God. And in the end, it says that Job was given double, I think, of what he had before and more. So if he was already rich, now he's double rich. So, but it was about, I can't remember how long he suffered for. It was a while though, because that was enough time for leprosy to start killing him. Oh, the Lord also gave Job full healing of his body, so he didn't have any more. He was cured of leprosy. I think he was going blind as well, but he gets fine now. Well, not now because like he's dead, but back then, and so he didn't curse God or he didn't get mad or frustrated, and it paid off in the end because he got double of his rewards, or double of what he had before because he remained faithful. Sometimes, I don't know, my fingers. Sometimes God tests us in these ways because we are some of His strongest soldiers in the like the army of heaven. Because if you remain faithful to Him, He will not disappoint you. That's pretty much it for this episode, and thank you guys for watching. God bless.